Hey everyone, Ken's Wild here, and children, welcome back to Vlogmas.
A little ponytail girl grown up to be a woman, now she's gone in a blink of an eye. She left the suds in a bucket and her clothes hanging out on the line.
So initially I had no plans of doing Vlogmas this year, just like I didn't last year. It's been an incredibly difficult few years, but then a brand that I'm potentially working with reached out and was all, hey, could you do it? Part of me was like, no, I really don't want to film my entire life for 25 days, and then they're like, well, what if we compensated you a lump sum? So I decided, why the hell not get back to how I used to do things, because it's been a while. So I guess we'll start with a recap. The last Vlogmas, I think it was 2021, maybe, ended up with me purchasing my own place. I wasn't going to be renting a facility like I was in Wickenburg. I had actually bought my own place. It was raw land, I was going to build up on it, right? And it actually ended rather early, just because I was trying to figure out how to manage moving and my one job at a stable and running my own business and Vlogmas and just all kinds of things at once. And so that was pretty much how that ended, unfortunately. Christmas after that, like 2022, I had just had like a very, very bad equine accident that caused epilepsy due to a traumatic brain injury, and it eventually landed me in a wheelchair, but it did not initially. And then not only that, but I was recovering from a very complicated situation, and that's a whole story. And then somewhere throughout the year, I ended up moving off of my property. Again, a whole other situation. And I finally made the decision to stop training horses professionally, because one client was the reason that I had to move off of my property. That and being in the wheelchair and the situation prior to that, that I was kind of talking about, my difficult situation. And all of those all at once, I just decided, you know what, I'm done. I'm burnt out from the industry. I'm going to take a break from training horses. I might go back to it later on down the road. I really don't know. It kind of just depends. And so I've been calling it my quarter life crisis. And so that's why I haven't really been doing Vlogmas. But here we are now. First thing on the agenda today, now that I'm a little bit more awake, is we are going to work with the dogs. And I'm going to use this time to kind of show you guys who all I still have in the pack and who all I don't. First off is Buster. I definitely still have Buster. I had him when I was back in Wickenburg. He's a really cool little dog. He was a rescue, and he's actually come a very long way. Then I have Echo. So Echo was the little puppy that I got at the carriage event in my last Vlogmas that I ever did. He is grown up, and he is a weirdo. He's special, but that's okay. As for Stevie Nicks, she's now in my ribcage, so that she'll always be by my side. A new addition is Cash. I got him last year around October. He is my seizure alert dog, and he is also trained to assist with PTSD, and he's a very good boy. The newest addition to the family, as in a few months, is Zoe, and I was not wanting to get another dog, but she kind of just fell into my lap, and here we are. As for horses, I still have Delilah. Both her and Philia will be with me until death, as well as Rebel. Delilah is also expecting a baby. This is the stallion she's bred to. I know at the end of the last Vlogmas, she was being bred to a halflinger, but unfortunately she just didn't take, and we had to move before we could keep trying. So now we're trying again, and I'm super freaking excited. Then there's Filio, who is the best boy like always. In about 5-6 years' time, he'll be 20, and I'm probably going to retire him as he has served me very well over the course of his life. So some other horses I had during my last Vlogmas, I had Rumor. Rumor was a project horse, and he is now living with an absolutely wonderful family down in central Arizona. I also had Goliath, and unfortunately Goliath has crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and that's a whole other story. And then I had Legend, and so Legend went to go live with a really, really, really good friend of mine. This friend also took Rebel for a little bit when I had my accident, but yeah. And a little secret between you and me, during Vlogmas, we're going to reconnect, and it's going to be pretty badass. Rebel is pretty much the only new addition to the herd. I did work with her back in Wickenburg. She was an off-site client. However, I eventually took her home and took over her care because she struggled with extreme aggression. So now she will be with me for life and has been added to the personal herd. One of my favorite things about Rebel as of lately is that every time she sees me coming and she knows where we typically work, she gets in the round pen. She's like, all right, Mom, it's time to go. And so then, like, when I'm not training her first, she's just there. But that's a good thing because it means she wants to work with me, and I've wanted that for so long. So, you also might notice that while I have Delilah haltered, Filio is also ready to work, and this makes my heart really happy because it means that I have developed the relationship that I've always wanted with my horse, where they want to work with me and they want to be with me. It takes a lot of work, but once you get there, it's incredibly rewarding. Now that I've worked animals, we're going to go inside and get ready for work. One thing I want you guys to know is my life is not nearly as exciting as it used to be. I know in the past I've worked at draft farms or cutting horse farms, or I've had a lot more horses, a lot more stuff for Vlogmas, and now pretty much just work my personal horses, work my dogs, go to work. So I'm going to try and spice up this Vlogmas though, try and find more things for it because I don't have the things that I used to. I'm not really working or training horses full time, and I know you all like that. So we'll find a way to spice up Vlogmas, but we'll get there. So the burning question, what do I do for work now? So I do two things. One, I do content creation. So like all of my Facebook, my Instagram, they all make me a little bit of money. It's not a lot, definitely not enough to sustain me full time. But they're making me a little bit of money. My podcast honestly makes me more. But you know, I sell my merchandise. I have sponsors. I have a bunch of things so that I can somewhat generate an income off of social media. So the second thing I do, I am a manager at a truck stop. I'd like to say that it makes good money. It definitely makes better money than like other jobs and stuff. But you know, a job's a job. I kind of somewhat like my job. I like the people that I work with. And I like that it's a consistent income and it's a job. I also like it better than other jobs. I mean, I get to cuss at people and tell people off when they decide to make rude sexual comments to me. So it's not too bad. It could be a lot worse. Another fancy new development about my life, I don't have a fucking car. Now, why don't I have a car, you might ask? Let's talk to the elk, and the elk can tell us what the fuck happened to my car. That, and due to developing epilepsy and having seizures, there was a point where I really couldn't drive. Just because when you have seizures, and in the state of Arizona, there's a certain amount of time that you cannot drive for. So even though the elk was pretty much like, hey, look at Kenzie's car, there was other reasons why, and I just haven't gone on to buy another car yet because I still need to wait for that timer to run out before I can legally drive again anyway. So we're just kind of waiting for that. Eventually I will get another car. As of lately, I've been hitching rides from friends. I will also occasionally ride my bicycle to work, and that's not a lot of fun, but I will do it. So I have now made it home after work. I fed the horses again, took care of all the dogs, and all that fun stuff. And now I'm pretty much just going to go to bed, and so that is the end of Vlogmas Day 1. Off to another wonderful Vlogmas episode tomorrow.